I am Nick Danger, and you are now tuned into the Art of MV. Welcome to my channel, and thanks for watching the video. Like, share, subscribe, check out some more videos, as all I do is make videos about MV and the equipment that kind of contribute to the MV, if you know what I mean. So anyway, there's a conversation going on right now about whether or not Roland's going to ever make, or if there's a new MV 8800 point Mark II on the horizon. In both groups, the MV legacy groups and the new Verselab MV users as well, because the price drop on the MV1 Verselab has made people think that maybe a new one is actually coming up and everything, and I don't know. I kind of doubt that. This is only a 2-year-old product that just received its first major firmware. I mean, they did do a couple of bug fixes and a couple of small firmware update previously to this one, but this one they gave us the 3 new MFX, which are very cool, by the way, and very one of them is very legacy, the phonograph. But the exciter and that JD multi are pretty cool, and the undo button. So they're tending to this, and there's a reason, man. We're going to get into the legacy things, and actually a very seldom talked about thing, which is the last picture, the last module in that trailer. The MV30 M Studio from 1991. So Roland made an MV before the 8000. The MV8000 is not the original MV. The Roland MV30 predates the 8000 by about 12 or 13, 14 years, like 1991. So combining 16-track MIDI sequencing and an 8-part multi-timbral sound source and an automated mixer, the MV30 was in workstation territory, minus a keyboard. This was the start of something new for Roland, right? Because other than workstations, you didn't get that. So the workstation concept was fading in the synth world, and Roland had chosen to opt for a different angle on the all-in-one box, and the MV30 Studio M was the result. It didn't have a keyboard. None of the MVs have keyboards. All of them have keyboard and synth sounds. Note that. This could be part of its attraction, and it's important. It's an important part of its attraction. I'm reading from the Sound on Sound magazine, by the way. As a result, this makes this readily transportable, and you can use the keyboard of your choice with it, whether it be a large keyboard controller in your studio or a dinky portable keyboard in your hotel bedroom. This kind of flexibility of use is which Roland is presumably had in mind, and they're further encouraging it by giving the MV30 the capability to read MIDI files off Atari, IBM PC, Apple Mac disk, so you can port the files between the dedicated unit and a wide range of computer-based sequencers, with a 16-track MIDI sequencer and a phrase sequencer, a multi-timbral sound source, and an automated mixer also included in the MV30's compact frame. It's the ideal unit for both the studio and the stage. The MV30's 8-part multi-timbral sound source is based on Roland's U220 RS-PCM sample playback units, but it significantly adds the company's latest generation digital filters as introduced on the S770 samplers and the D70 synth. At the heart of the MV30 sound generating capabilities are the tones, which can be a sample or a waveform. It has 220 of them that are held permanently on board in memory and can access others via its 2 sound card slots. And it can read the U series and D70 cards, and it already has a reasonable library of sounds. Okay, so just like both MVs, it came stock with sounds. Now they get into the sequencer, like I told you before, at a phrase and a MIDI sequencer on it. At the end of the day, the MV30 could function as a sequencing center of your MIDI setup, but you can uproot it and take it out as a self-contained unit wherever you need to go. What does that sound like? It sounds like this. So the MV is just a concept. So one thing about the MV8000 people don't realize is that even in the 2000s, it was so far ahead of its time, but the insides was based on the technology that preceded it. So it didn't have the Phantom sound, the XV sound engine, 128 voice, or even the 64 voice version of the XV sound engine that the XV5050 had. It had a late 80s, early 90s sampler, the S7 series, at its heart, along with the like SP808, which is back in 98. So it had some older technology into it. And so once they probably ran out of those boards, once they ran out of those S770 samplers, once they, trotted out the MV8800, they didn't have any of that stuff left from the early 90s, and they had moved on. So that's one reason the MV8000 will never come back, because you'll never get another sampler that's going to sound like that S770. What we got with the MV1 Verselab is the most modern sound engine that they have, which is the Zen Core, which they're basing everything on, and its own dedicated kind of companion app, which makes it forward thinking, where this technology is also based on something in the past, and I've already shown it to you. It's based on this. Now when you look at this little mixer right here, it's the exact same architecture. It's 8 tracks, with one being like dedicated to coaxial digital, and a wave recorder and its own onboard DSP, making it an interface, right? And that's basically what this part of the MV1 Verselab is. It's the interface part. It does everything that the VS100 did. Now, the VS100 is still, for them to base the new Verselab on that technology, is still kind of in line with what they did with the previous MVs. This is an example of how Roland has put training reels on this MV. So first you got the companion app, which means you can just drag and drop stuff all over the place. But in addition to that, there's a guided workflow, right? And then there are kits, and you can actually change the key of the song and the settings. So you can start out the project, can be in a certain key. Everything will be in a certain key. That way everything you choose will match. But they actually have kits that kind of resemble each other. So check this out. So I got this. Okay, so I'm gonna go to sequence. Okay, let me go to this one. Go to section, then go to kit. Okay, so this particular kit has everything is designed to work together. This is the training wheels you get out the box with Roland. This is just one of the kits, but check it out. Everything designed to kind of go together. So come down here, as you can see, a whole nother kit of the same type of flamingo guitar. Now that I've sequenced some phrases together, I can put together the sections in a chain to make a song. I just hit song mode, go over here, hit record, and basically just use the TR bar, the style step record bar down here to lay each section into a particular step. So one, I want to hit that, and I want that one there. In the second step, I want this one there. In the third step, and so forth. Now that I got a basic idea, rewind all the positions, record, turn that off, make sure I don't record any more new steps. We're gonna see what we got here. You just run with your ideas that simply, straight out of the box, no external gear needed, all presets. I mean, what more could you ask for as an MV user, man, to be honest? Now mind you, I want to make a note about the previous or the earlier in the conversation talking about future MVs and whatnot, and here's my one take on what they're doing with their products now and why I don't think they're going to first abandon this one. And I can't say, I'm not in Roland's head, I don't know about what they're thinking, and they may put an MV 8000 out there again, or MV 9000. I doubt it, but they could be. But I believe that we'll get a better sample profile either via the app with that sample verse and this being more integrated into the Zen beats and actually being able to control the app more in depth, or we'll get maybe some kind of SP, firmware update that gives us some of those protocols like the chromatic sample scales and all that good stuff that they got on the MV, or skip back or something like that. But in my opinion, everything that the legacy MV guys are waiting for, it's in the Phantom. If you really want all that stuff, you're gonna have to buy a Phantom and spend about $3 grand. Anyway, this is the Art of MV. Catch you on my next video.